Thank you for watching this video about 1972. Before we get to the good stuff, I gotta plug the Patreon. $2 a month gets you Discord access. $5 a month gets you early access to my videos. If the Patreon hits $400 a month, I will rank every year in number 4. I'd like to give a shout out to the new $2 patron, Tan Growth Hat. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to get a shout out in the next video, click on the link below. And now, let's get groovy. There's something to be said about a year so eventful, they made a Behind the Music episode about it. 1972 was one of the years they picked, and it was a big one. This was when the 70s were just getting started. That week's chart is a perfect example of where we were that year. Whereas 1962 had things that everyone forgot for a reason, 1972 had things that everyone remembers for a reason. All you want to do is use me. Like, going through, there was so much I had to just shove in my honorable mentions, only because I couldn't find room for it. So the mindset I had for making this list was to just simply find the 10 things I can ramble about the most. Even on that standard, I still had to make cuts. There was just so much going on in 1972. So, in the interest of not wasting any more time than I already have, let's take a look at... It's October.
See the curtains hanging in the window.
Technically, this chart is dated for the last day of September, but whatever, close enough. The point is, we're getting into that time of year when the weather is colder and leaves are flying and shit. Not exactly a time to be thinking about summer.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine.
And yet, as we look at the charts from that week, we see this summer-type song just beginning to get some steam, eventually peaking at number 6 in December. That's a time when you really don't want to be thinking about summer. Although, to be fair, it is a pretty good time to be thinking about breezes.
Blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Then again, it doesn't matter what the season. This song does kind of put me in a relaxing mood. Makes me want to take a nap on my bed on a snowy day, almost as much as it makes me want to take a nap on a lounge chair outside. And it does kind of have that end of summer tone to it, too.
Summer breeze.
Like, this is the sound of your summer becoming a memory. And as it goes further and further into your past, the vibe of this hits just a little bit more. So in a way, I guess it did pick a good time to chart after all. So in about a month and a half, it's going to be Thanksgiving. And that means for many households, it's time to start memorizing this song.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
Yes, Alice's Restaurant Massacre, the 18-minute rambling folk song based off of something that happened to Arlo Guthrie on Thanksgiving. I'm not going to delve into this one because then we'd be here forever and a day. Like, there's a part where he talks about protesting the draft by singing a bar of Alice's Restaurant.
But imagine two people walking in singing a bar of Alice's Restaurant in harmony. They may think they're both and it won't take either of them.
Yeah, that part could probably change into something else. It is true, though, that homosexuals and the like weren't allowed in the military at the time, and yes, people did use it as a way to dodge the draft. Be gay, do war crime.
Walk right in, it's around the back.
This obviously would be a little too fucked up for the Hot 100. Still, it's a great song, if only for the intriguing story. And, as it turns out, Arlo Guthrie makes pretty good music when not doing this, too.
Riding on the city
This is The City of New Orleans, which is surprisingly the only Arlo Guthrie song to make the top 20, technically making him a one-hit wonder, but to those in the know, he's a little more than that. In terms of chart success, he only had one other Hot 100 appearance.
You can eat anyone that you want. Alice's restaurant.
I call it Alice's Restaurant, the normal version. But back to this one.
All along the southbound Odyssey.
This one was actually written by Steve Goodman, and it's about a train ride from Chicago to New Orleans. And I love me some trains.
Good morning, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son.
Okay, well, he's not actually Native American. He was more of a native Chicagoan. Maybe that's what he meant? But damn if this song doesn't make me want to say Good Morning America every time.
This train got to disappear in railroad blues.
And the song ends with a lament to how the railroad system has been failing. Thanks, Amtrak brand capitalism.
But all the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream.
You know, people like to talk about how we should try to work harder at our trains, considering they have trains in Asian countries that go just as fast as planes do. And you know what? I agree with that. As someone who is, in a week or so, gonna be going on a plane, yeah, I'll say there's gonna be times when I wish I was on a train instead. For one thing, I'll say it, trains just have better scenery. Like with trains, you get to see like trees and fields and mountains and farm animals and shit. When you're on a plane, most of the time you just see clouds. That's it. How is this worth burning up all that jet fuel? And that leads us to another reason why trains are better. Wait, what was I doing again? Speaking of people from Chicago,
Saturday in the park. I think it was the 4th of July.
look at that. We're at number 8 and it's already an all-timers territory. Come on, you guys didn't think I really hated Chicago, did you?
Another day in the park.
Well, not only do I not hate this, I love it. And why wouldn't you? It's just one of those perfect fun time having songs.
A man plays guitar.
Something to just sing while going out and having fun. Preferably in a park on a Saturday, although anytime and anywhere works too. And just like Summer Breeze, this is a sunshiny kind of song that works no matter what the weather. Could be raining or snowing or wildfiring, and this song still makes me feel like it's 75 degrees and partly cloudy. AKA the perfect weather.
Every day's the 4th of July.
And what else is there to say? I just love this one. This is Chicago at their very best. If anything, it just makes me lament their spiral into suckage that much more.
Easy going.
1972 was the start of whatever this was. I'm not talking about the Eagles. I'm talking more about what they represented. See, there was this trend in rock music called the California Sound.
Held me spellbound in the night.
I don't think it's any specific kind of sound. It was more an umbrella term for anyone from California, or anyone who at least sounded California enough. But in the early 70s, when everyone just wanted to mellow out, the California Sound was huge, and would eventually lead to the yacht rock of the later 70s. The Los Angeles Eagles released their self-titled debut that summer. But for this list, we're gonna go a little further up north. To the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically San Jose, where the Doobie Brothers had begun to blow the fuck up. With their second album released that same summer, the Doobs invited us all to listen to the music. That's right, we sat through I'll Make You Music, we sat through I Believe in Music, And now it's finally time to listen to the music.
Well, I know you know better. Everything I say.
And man, this is listenable. That guitar sound, for one, is infectious. But what I really like is when it gets all crazy sounding.
Like a lazy flowing river.
Ah, I can see the music.
Oh yeah. This is more like it. Like Chicago before them, the Doobies would change their sound halfway through their career. Unlike Chicago, their newer stuff still sounded great. Even with Michael McDonald, people were still listening to the music. And you know, there's something to be said about something like that. What they do.
All the time they wanna take your place. The backstabbers. Backstabbers.
Yeah, this one. The one about the backstabbers. You know, from the TV show, Backstabbers. Okay, there was no TV show, but this sounds a lot like it could be the theme to one, doesn't it?
All you fellas who have someone.
Well, it's a simple soul song about how you better watch out for the guys who are out to get your lady. And Mr. Steal Your Girl could be anyone.
Somebody's out to get your lady. A few of your buddies, they sure look shady.
Could be any one of your friends who keeps visiting your house to see your woman. They only want to use you to get her. You know, there is something about a bunch of guys trying to get someone's girl like she's some kind of prize to be won or something.
I keep getting all these visits.
But this is good because he's trying to warn you about all those crazy guys out there. You know, the ones that tell him
What they do. They smile in your face. All the time they wanna take your place.
oh yeah, they all want to take your place. Wait, how does a bunch of guys take the place of one? Don't answer that.
Might be your neighbor. Your next door neighbor.
Hey, who wants to see what they were selling in the 70s?
Of course you get one button color on Sears 19-inch color TV. But you also get something a lot more important. Come, I'll show you. You get Sears testing for quality. Sears service available nationwide. And most important,
We'll take care of it.
Sears reputation for dependability. With Sears 19-inch color TV, you get a lot more than one button color.
Whereas the party of the first part having elected to go and you need more than words. You need more than a pen. You need flair. Flair writes feeling. Flair writes ideas. Flair writes colors. Flair writes music. Flair writes emotion. Flair even writes pictures. Man does not live by words alone. Man needs flair. In 12 very human colors.
And now the really, really good part of the best list. "1972, the year of Ziggy Stardust."
There's a starman waiting in the sky.
Summer of 72, Bowie drops his Ziggy Stardust Persona album and a legend was born. I so wish I could talk about this album on these lists, but the only single to go anywhere was Starman, and that barely cleared the top 60. And it did not chart that week. But you know what did, though? Mott the Hoople. Don't call them a Bowie ripoff, they were doing it first. You can, however, call this a Bowie song because he wrote it.
Television man is crazy.
There's an interesting story about that. At the time, they were on the verge of breaking up, but Bowie decided to intervene and convince them to stay together. He offered them Suffragette City, but they turned it down. So he wrote All the Young Dudes for them. They accepted, and it became their biggest hit ever. So you see, kids? Friendship is indeed magic. Oh God, what the fuck did I just say? I just love this big stomping beat. This is what the 70s are to me. Clapping, stomping, shouting about all the young dudes carrying the news by being fucking crazy. This song, lyrically, is a list of young people who are just fed up with life and the world and shit. Like, one guy's suicidal, another's turned to crime. And then there's that second verse. Oh yes, the 70s say trans rights. Props on using the non-dead name. Very progressive. It's not hard to see why this got big. This is the youth of the 70s crying out to be noticed. Also, this song was number 69 that week. Make up your own joke here.
My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling, I want you to play with my ding-a-ling.
This act is over.
Ha ha ha, Simpsons reference. Alright, let's look at the real thing.
My ding-a-ling, I wanna play with my ding-a-ling.
Chuck Berry, the rock and roll legend with his #1 hit, My Ding-a-Ling. You know, the one about his ding-a-ling?
Silver bells hanging on a string. She told me it was my ding-a-ling-a-ling.
See, that's what this is about. Just a bunch of silver bells he got from his grandma. So, you know, really wholesome stuff.
Every time the choir would sing, I'd sit there and play with my ding-a-ling.
Yeah, he'd play with his ding-a-ling in front of the choir because, you know, they're bells. And bells are a musical instrument. Wholesome.
And every time the bell would ring, to catch me playing with my ding-a-ling.
He'd get caught playing with his ding-a-ling at school because they're bells and they make noise. Still wholesome.
She'd be the queen, I'd be the king. Together we'd play with my ding-a-ling-a-ling. My ding-a-ling,
Okay, he's definitely talking about his dick.
I wanna play with my ding-a-ling.
Like, ha ha ha, he's playing with his ding-a-ling. That's a dick joke. Honestly, the only thing that's shocking about this is that it's his only #1 hit on Billboard.
I want you to play with my...
I mean, yeah, a lot of his big stuff was from before the Hot 100, but to think this was the only time he hit the top of the charts, that'd be like if the Beatles never had a #1 hit until Maxwell's Silver Hammer. And that was the only time they did it. So what the hell is this thing doing on the best list?
But I never let go my ding-a-ling-a-ling. My ding-a-ling.
Honestly, I just think it's fun. And Chuck delivers this song with so much enthusiasm. Like, he really gets himself into the song. Which, considering what it's about, yeah.
I wanna play with my ding-a-ling. My ding-a-ling.
Also, that whole hysteria about the lyrical content just makes me laugh. Oh, Moral Guardians, if you think this went too far for you, then man, oh man, are these next 50 years gonna blow your mind. You know what we need more songs about? Getting booed off the stage.
Went to a garden party, reminisce with my old friend.
Grown up Rick Nelson. Don't call him Ricky anymore, he's just Rick now.
No one heard the music.
Garden Party is about his real life experience performing at some 50s rock retro show at Madison Square Garden.
Yoko brought a walrus. There was magic in the air.
He was playing his old stuff and people were like, oh yeah, Traveling Man, I remember that one. And then he played his new stuff.
No one recognized me.
And they were all like, boo, get off the stage, you suck. What the hell do you do with that?
All right now, I learned my lesson well. See, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself.
That's actually the right attitude to have.
See, you can't please everyone.
You can't please everyone, so you've gotta please yourself. Or to put it another way, fuck 'em.
But if memories were all I sang, I'd rather drive a truck.
He wrote this song in response to that night, and what he's saying is, come on, you really want me to do the same shit over and over? And then what, you'll be like, boo, make some new oldies already or something?
I said hello to Mary Lou.
Well, this is a message I have been taking to heart every day here. To grow as a person, you gotta make changes. Switch your life up a bit. Don't dwell on the past, just leave it where it belongs and do what you wanna do. And if you lose some people along the way, that's fine.
I learned my lesson well.
Because again, you can't please everyone. I know of one person who actually did try to please everyone. He ended up nailed on a cross. So don't try to please everyone. Just focus on what you want to do. And if they don't want to come along for the ride, oh well.
Please everyone, so you got to please yourself.
So we have an election coming up.
What? Again? This stupid country?
Yeah, this country really is stupid like that. This year we're having midterm elections, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to vote in them. It seems like every time midterms come along, we all just slack off and stay home. And that, my friends, is always the point where things get worse. So for those of you who are over 18, which better be a large percentage of you, I am asking, no, I am begging, no, I am demanding, please vote in your midterm elections. Well, 1972 was a presidential election year. This one ended with Nixon destroying McGovern, winning every state but one. Gee, I wonder how he pulled that off.
So keep on rocking me, baby.
Well, one thing that weirdly interested me is seeing which songs went number one on election day. For example, Rockin' Me was number one when Jimmy Carter was elected. And some of those songs are, I want to say, strangely timely. End of the Road was number one when George H.W. Bush lost his re-election bid, and thus he himself was at the end of the road. Hey Jude was number one when Nixon won his first term. Take a sad song and make it better? When Trump won in 2016, Closer was the number one. That whole tone of We Ain't Ever Getting Older sure resonated with a lot of us that night. Here's what hit number one on election day in 1972.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
Now isn't that just a perfect kind of song to hit number one on election day? The election is over, all the toxic bullshit that it brought is finally fading away. We can see clearly now. We may or may not like what we see, but we see it.
It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Yes, for President Nixon, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day indeed.
I think I can make it now, the pain is gone.
And for George McGovern too, for that matter. Because even after you lose, you still get a sense of everything clearing up all the same. And mean, it's all you really can do. Just let everything fade itself away, and eventually the bright, sunshiny day will come. Or you can cry rigged election and get January 6th. Ha 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 ha, it's funny because these guys couldn't see clearly. And it works just the same without politics. No matter what kind of day I'm having in general, whether it was a good day or a bad day, I could just put this on and everything just clears up. Why, I can almost see the sun myself. But first, a few more obstacles in our way. A lot of songs on that week's chart were contenders for the best list. This came the closest to making it. I love me some kick-ass guitar-driven stuff. Best song ever about a summer romance with a sailor who has to get back to sea any minute now.
But my life, my love, and my lady is the sea.
Poor Brandy.
Wait, is this the same Rick Springfield? Let me look it up. Oh, it is. Rick Springfield had a top 20 hit in 1972. I'm kinda digging this. For such a high-charting song, it seems to be very much forgotten. Might have been way ahead of its time. If the Strokes made this in 2001, it might have a lot more staying power, I think.
Get back, honky cat.
Honky Chateau isn't one of my favorite Elton albums, but I fucking love the twangy Nolan saloon music tone it has.
Been the two of us need look no more.
Best love song to a killer rat named Ben ever made. Yeah, this was the theme to a horror film. Happy spooky season, by the way.
Let it rain, let it rain.
Yeah, Clapton's a stupid piece of shit, but he makes some alright songs. This is one of them.
I got to get on the good foot. I got to do it on the good.
Classic James Brown's staple, nothing more to say about that. But remember when I talked about the 1972 election earlier? Here's a clip of James Brown endorsing Nixon that year.
Well, I'm endorsing President Nixon because I believe in the future of the country.
So that's how he pulled it off. Just get James Brown to endorse him. And totally not anything else of note.
I am woman, hear me roll.
This isn't on the list only because it's not really meant for me. I am not woman, nor am I binary.
Whoa, yes, I am wise.
But it does get my respect. Doesn't try to hammer in the message as hackneyed as possible. It just simply tells you.
I am strong, strong. I am invincible, invincible. I am woman. If you get it going on, if you got it.
And now I'm imagining a Nightmare mashup.
'Cause Fred is dead.
Oh, I hate that I have to put the Superfly soundtrack in the honorable mentions. But there is no denying this wonderful soundtrack to a film about a drug dealer, where all the songs are anti-drug messages, and they all just kick ass. That is the mark of an essential. Oh, hi, bumper music. Yeah, I want to reiterate that this song is really, really good and one of the best driving songs ever made. Like, this is made for going all the way, am I right?
Nights in white satin.
Oh, this one. Technically, it's not a 1972 song. It's actually from their 1967 album, Days of Future Past. Yeah, Billboard has this weird thing where, for some reason, songs that are old and didn't become hits at the time suddenly start charting and become hits. For example, this is Die For You, a song from The Weeknd's 2016 album Starboy. It is charting right now and looks like it's gonna be an actual hit this year. For some great reason, I suppose. But back to Nights in White Satin. It's great, but it works a lot better on the album than by itself. Another very essential album, by the way. And now, here's a very essential single. This isn't my number one because I necessarily think it's the best out of all of them. Don't get me wrong, I do love this song a lot more than most of the others on the list, but that's not the reason why. There is another reason why I have this at number one, and when I play it for you, you should be able to easily figure it out, so, let's just play it then. Don't you just love a good ending song? This song is the ultimate ending song. Things, for one reason or another, didn't work out. So what do? Just move on. Just go, get out the door, turn around now and leave it all behind. Yeah, like he says, bow out gracefully. But then again, as a wise woman once said, just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Because he'll be there, just in case you ever want to check up on him for any reason. And I guess it's not a bad sentiment to have. I'll be around. And if she wants to get back to you, then she can. But if not, that's fine too. This may be the end of you doing them, but it's also the beginning of you doing you. Yeah. And that part with the violins and the horns, that hits especially hard. That part is the soundtrack of you walking away from everything. And even though he's leaving, he still ain't going nowhere. He's just going to do his own thing with his head held as high as possible. But he'll still be there, still be around. And that's an ending we all want. Well, anyway, it's time for me to leave. I'm the CHR83, and, I'll be around. I'll be there. I'll be calling up tonight to let you know. I'll be around. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby, it may be factual, may be cruel.